I'm Ailis Garcia, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Bobby Kronfli, the co-owner of Bacaro LA. It's a wine bar in downtown Los Angeles located in University North Park, just north of the USC campus. Bobby opened Bacaro with his brother in 2008. In addition to running the restaurant, they are the owners of Kronfli Brothers, a line of specialty sauces in over 195 retail stores. They are also the new owners of Nature's Brew, 2 doors down from Bacaro LA, which they opened in 2013. They're getting ready to open their second location, Bacari, in Playa del Rey. And they've been able to accomplish all this in just 6 short years. Bobby was a music industry major at USC and graduated in 2011. So what's really funny is that my mom and I always have this debate about Bacaro, because when I first started coming here, I think I used to call it Bacaro. And so, but she still calls it Bacaro.
Yeah.
So how do you actually say it?
So yeah, the right way to say it's Bacaro, but I gave up that fight like a long time ago. So, and everybody calls it Bacaro. Mm-hmm. Even when I answer the phone and I say Bacaro, they go, "Is this Bacaro?" But if I answer the phone and say Bacaro, then they just get right into the phone call. So now I gave up and I just say Bacaro, and then, so I don't have to deal with that extra step.
Yeah, but it's a good icebreaker though. It gets people talking.
Yeah, exactly. So I even made shirts, staff shirts, that had the phonetic spelling of how to say it on the back of the shirt. Mm-hmm. Bacaro, and it didn't work anyways. People just say Bacaro, so
what does Bacaro even mean?
So Bacaro is a slang term in Italian to describe a wine bar in Venice.
So let's take it back though to the beginning, because I first met you at Paladar, which was your underground restaurant, so to speak. But you guys opened Bacaro before you started Paladar. Yeah,
my brother did. So my brother opened Bacaro here in 2008, and I really enjoyed what was going on here, and I could see myself happy doing it. So I decided to start doing that out of my apartment at school. So we were running, Alex and I were running, my roommate, running an underground restaurant for about 2.5 years, from sophomore year to like senior year in college, and had a good amount of success with it. And as soon as I graduated, then I just moved straight here into Bacaro with my brother, and then just started working with him and expanding everything that way.
Yeah, so how did your parents though shape you into the entrepreneur that you are today?
Mostly my dad. Because my dad had his own business my whole life, still does, and everybody in my lineage, every Kronfli for like 3 generations back has had their own business, and we're Lebanese, and Lebanese people are very entrepreneurial just naturally. That's the way we are. So we were raised to have our own business. My dad always told us it's not worth it to work for anybody else. So that was instilled into us when we were young. And for example, like when my dad would take us to the beach or whatever we were doing when we were kids, he would make us sell lemonade, on the street, and teach us how to sell the best lemonade and how to compete with the other kids down the street. So it was just like constant stuff like that growing up, that my dad just instilled in our brain, just how to be entrepreneurial and how to take on a project and make it successful. So it really comes from my dad.
So you guys have now also opened a second location called Nature's Brew,
right?
Which is a completely different concept.
So when Bacaro opened here at SC, it was a great, and still is a great dinner spot. A place to have like a lot of, it's loud in here. There's beer and wine. It's dinner, it's warm, it's a wine bar, it's fun, big groups. So we wanted to create a whole nother place that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. So breakfast and lunch, bright, airy. So we first created a dinner spot to help out, and then now we wanted to do a breakfast place too for students.
What do you tell people when they say they want to get into the restaurant business and they come to you and they see that you're running not only a wine bar, which is completely different from an everyday juice bar and cafe?
You need absolute passion. That's number one. Because the restaurant business is not easy. No business is easy, but restaurant business is known for being difficult and just the ins and outs of it. And just serving food daily, that's a tough thing to do.
Right.
You know, on a daily basis. So you have to have absolute passion for it to drive you through those bad days, because they definitely come up. It's a lot of hours, because you have to keep an eye on like every little detail around here, like cleanliness, quality of food. Like it's a very detail-oriented job. So again, like you have to, it has to be your life and like what you do. You have to always be on your game when you have a restaurant. It all starts with passion, and that's what you really, really need. So that's step one.
What's step two?
Step two is perfecting your craft. You have to perfect what you're doing to make it financially viable for you and to make sure you survive. There's a lot of competition out there and a lot of people trying to do what you're doing or undercut what you're doing. So you have to push for perfection every day from your staff, yourself, holding yourself to those standards as well. Your quality of service and food is always there. You're always pushing to make it as best as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of pushing yourself, you guys are now going to be opening a second location for Bacaro LA. What is that like? What's the feeling like to be able to expand?
The intensity of that is awesome, because there's just so many things to do between design and new menus and the construction and stuff like that. It's like an open canvas to be as creative as possible, and that's what I love doing.
Speaking of more expansion, you guys have expanded into a sauce line. Now that's it's still within food, but that's also a completely different business.
Yeah.
So how did that even come about?
Yeah, I didn't know that when I got into it. So
it's almost better though, right? It's better to be a little,
absolutely.
Ignorance is sometimes bliss.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if I knew ahead of time what I was getting myself into, I might have not gotten into
Totally.
It started out with a simple idea we had a couple of sauces here at Bacaro that are very popular, and people ask about them all the time. How you make them? I love them so much. Can I take some home? And after a year of those requests, I finally just had the idea, why don't we just stick them in a bottle and sell them, right? Just that simple idea. Obviously, it's much more complex than just a simple idea of let's throw it in a bottle and sell it.
Right.
There's a lot more involved to it, like from a science standpoint as well. It took about 8 months. We did our first run. A couple months later, we got into 3 Whole Foods locations with their local program. Those were our first 3 stores. And now it's been 14 months since then, and now we're in about 195 total stores.
That's crazy, and most people don't expand that fast. So what do you think has been like the propelling force behind such quick growth?
My brother and I. We brought my dad out of retirement also, because we started growing so quickly that between the restaurants and that side of the business, we just couldn't handle it. We just have growth on our mind every morning we wake up. Is to continue to keep growing. We don't like flatlining, because flatlining is boring.
So 3 sauces, what's next? Are you guys thinking of other condiments or?
We definitely have ideas for more sauce, but we also want to create other types of products for the marketplace, because some of the buyers we work with said, hey, we like your guys' creativity, can you create other products for us? And we said yes, but we're not ready, because we're still working on expanding the base of just those 3 products and reaching a certain level of those sales for those that can support R&D. Because it's expensive to come up with new products and bring it to marketplaces and stuff like that. So we're hoping to get to a point of cash flow with these 3 that will support a launch of a new product line, because we're not there yet. So. And
you're still the guy that's going out there and doing all the demos too, because you're at Expo West, you're going down to markets, you're going down to Whole Foods, so you're still very, very involved.
Yeah. So we do a lot of food shows, we do a lot of direct marketing, which is really effective getting people to try it and telling them about it firsthand, and then word of mouth spreads.
So you were a music industry major at USC. That's completely different than anything involving food. What was that experience like?
I loved it. at the time I got into SC, I was a full-time musician actually. I was like playing 4 or 5 hours a day. That was just a period of my life. So that's what got me into music school. And I really enjoyed music school. I love music, and I like studying things I'm interested in.
Right.
You know, so I just went with that, and I liked it. But I also took a lot of business courses and a lot of entrepreneurship courses also. So that's why I really love my experience at school, because half my day I was with artists and people who used, is it the left or right side of your brain?
I think it's the left.
Yeah, so the left side of your brain, and just like really out there artists and really intelligent guys, like unbelievable musicians. And then the other half of my day, I'd be with guys who are using the right side of the brain, who are just like really good at accounting and finance and like just totally different group of people. And I love both, you know? So that was that was my favorite experience of college, is being in those two groups of people and like in the middle of both.
Right.
You know?
I think you've been able to merge that though, because being an entrepreneur and creating things uses that creative side of your brain. So for you to be able to create a new restaurant or a new line of sauces, that's very creative as well.
Yeah.
And solving problems.
Yeah, I'm more of a left side brain type of guy, and my brother is more of a right side brain type of guy. What's most satisfying is a couple things. So personally, what's most satisfying when I have a vision for something or a certain goal to accomplish that's like in my brain, it's like stewing in my brain, and to see that come to reality is awesome. Like for example, the new restaurant right now, like I have a vision of how it should look inside and what I want the ambiance to be, and if I can accomplish what's in my head on that grand opening and observe that, that's incredibly satisfying.
Right.
It's awesome. And also what's very satisfying is you have to just get a simple phone call or a simple text from a friend or anybody that says, hey, just want to let you know I went into Bacaro tonight and I had a great time, the food was awesome. Just like something that simple will just make me feel really good, because we put so much work into making sure we get that reaction from every customer. So when I get that feedback firsthand from somebody that says, hey man, I had an awesome time at your place tonight, thank you for having us, that's like an awesome feeling.
So you work with your dad, your brother. What is that like?
It's great. It's frustrating some days because it's your family.
Right.
But sometimes I want to kill them. Sometimes I get really frustrated with them, and they do with me also. But at the end of the day, you don't have to hold anything back with them. You know, when you work with other people, you have to have this barrier of controlling your emotions. You can't go and be up and down. But with your family, you can be up and down. You can just be yourself. You don't. It doesn't really matter. So like, I can just yell at my brother. I can just flip out at him. You know, he can just flip out at me, and then it's fine, because that's fine with us. You can't flip out at anybody else. It's just not appropriate.
Yeah,
but there's certain things that are completely appropriate with your family, like that. Expressing your emotions and your anger that you can't do with other people. So that's a great part about working with family. You can just be blunt, just straight up, just blunt. That's the best part about it.
So you work with your family. USC is a family. How do you see yourself being involved with USC in the future?
I'd like, not now, not yet, but maybe when I get a little bit older, I'd like to go back and teach to some degree. Definitely in the entrepreneurship school, for sure. But not really in the near future just yet. I don't think I'm ready for that, nor do I have enough experience to pass on to other students.
Right.
I don't think I'm there yet. But I'd like to get there. It's a goal of mine, and to be involved in some fashion of teaching and being involved in the curriculum overall would be great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.